Good evening everyone and welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to squash git commits. But before I go on, I say good evening. Yes, I say good evening because it's 10:30 p.m. here in Sydney and it's a really fine evening, and I've just come home from watching John Wick 4. I loved it because I'm a huge fan of Keanu Reeves. So um, if you were to go watch that movie, please don't take my recommendation for it because I'm obviously very biased. So check your online reviews or whatever it is that you do before you decide to go watch a movie. Um, should you go watch John Wick 4? But it's awesome. I liked it. Anyway, now moving on to the topic of this video. How to squash commits Git. So say you're working on a feature for your app, be it backend or front end, and over time, as you keep working on it, you will have a number of commits. So say for example, you start working on a feature, then as you build it out, you realize there's a change in requirements, or there's certain technical concept that you did not know that you've come to realize over the course of developing that feature. Uh, and as a result, you may make one too many commits. So you may have more than one commit. You may have two or three or four or even 10 for that matter. Um, so that's okay. As you're developing it, it's absolutely fine that you keep making multiple commits. So once you've done all your commits and you've it's your feature, you've built out the feature and it's ready for testing, uh, and so while it's being tested, you also create a pull request um, to the. Okay, wait. Sorry, did I? I'm not sure if I covered this, but if you're working on a feature, you would ideally work off a feature branch. So this, everything that I've said assumes that you're working off a feature branch. So say for example, you're adding a feature to your app like search by user email. So you have a feature for your repository called search by user email. Anyway, so okay, let's move on to where we were. Right, so you've built out that feature and you've got say 10 commits for it, and then you've created a pull request for your feature branch to be merged to the main repository, and while the feature is being tested. Now it's tested, and test is great and the peer review is great, it's approved and it's ready to be merged. Now what you may want to do is before you merge that, you may want to squash commits. Why would you want to do that? um, First of all, in case you don't know what squash commits are, for the content, just to explain in this video, squashing commits means you combine all the changes you made in all those 10 commits, 10 or so commits, and then you put them into one commit. That's called squashing the commits. So you squash them. Um, okay, so now why would you want to squash your commits? You would want to squash your commits because you ideally, if you're working in a large team and you've got a number of engineers, developers working with you, ideally, for the sake of consistency and for the sake of maintenance of your repository, for the sake of long-term maintenance, you want to keep the commit history clean. So for that feature that you're building, say use search user by email, uh, you don't want to have 10 commits in the master branch of your or the main branch of your repository. You just want one commit, and that's to add feature that's for your feature like search by user email. So you want to squash that. um, so how do you go about squashing it? And I hope you understand what I mean by to keep the commit history clean. If you have any questions on this, please leave ask me in comments and I'm happy to explain that to you. uh, and heaps of organizations have this sort of policy in place that you just have one commit per um, feature that you're building out. Obviously, there are many cases where you cannot avoid having multiple commits, but that's something that you need to evaluate on a case-by-case basis. All right. So okay, now we've established, you built out the feature, the PR, it's tested, the PR is ready to, the PR is approved, it's ready to be merged, and you also understand why you need to squash commits. So before you merge your feature branch, the main branch, you want to squash the commits. And how do you squash your commits? Now, there are many ways of doing this. One way is I'll obviously share the code in the link of in the description of this video as well. So how you want to do this is, first you make sure you're in your feature branch, and then you check the number of commits that you have. Say you've got 10 commits, so then you do get in the on this assume you're on the command line on the terminal, or however, or git bash from Windows, or whatever it is that you're using. Say you in the command line, you're in the source folder of your repository, and then what you do is you execute the command git rebase hyphen I head HEAD in uppercase tilde, and then followed by the number of commits that you have. So if you've got 10 commits in your feature branch, you do git rebase hyphen I HEAD tilde 10. Great. Once you press that, once you press enter, and then you get then you'll be greeted with the screen where you have all your commits in that along with the commit messages, and then you'd have like pick, and then you'll be given instruction of what you can do. And for the commit that you want to keep and for the commits that you want to squash, you replace the PICK with S. So if you just want to keep one commit and you've got 10 commits, so you'll see pick written 10 times. So leave pick for just the first line, and then replace all the others with S. And that's it. Press in my case I use web, so I do like escape colon WQ, and in the next section you'll be asked to pick your commit message. So you'll see all 10 messages that you've had for your commits, for all your 10 commits, but in that case you just pick the message that you want. So if you leave it as it is, you'll have 10 different messages for your for this commit. So ideally you just want the one message. So whether you write a new message or you just keep the one of your previous messages, all you need to do is just put I can't remember what that thing is called, like the hash. Yeah, put the hash in front of all the messages that you don't want to select. That's it. Then press then enter. In my case it would be like, again, escape WQ and escape colon WQ, and that's it. You've rebased, you've squashed all your commits. And then to push your, after you squash the commits, and to push it to your feature branch on the server, you would want to do git push hyphen F. You're doing a force push, because what you're doing is you're overwriting the commit history. So you're discarding all those 10 commits that you have, and you just want to squash them all into one commit. And that's it. Now you've just got one commit for the feature that you built out. Say in this case, if it was search user by email, you've just got one feature. You've just got one commit for the entire feature on how you built it out. And that's it. It's ready, and then you can merge. And in your commit history for your main repository, for your main in the commit history in your main branch, you've just got the one commit for the feature that you're building out. So that's it. It's good. The commit history is clean, and it's heaps more maintainable in the long run. So that's good. I hope that's clear. If it's not, I'll share a description of how to do some of these things in the link of this video, and in description. And also I'll be writing a little blog post on this, and I'll also include the link to that blog post in the description of this video. So check it out, and thank you for watching. And please, if you like what I do, um, I'm actively maintaining 2 repositories on GitHub: the Node TypeScript CRUD nodes and React TypeScript list. Please support me. Go to my GitHub and then give it a star, or and add a comment or something, and that'll be great. So thank you for watching, and that's all I have for this video. And until next time, happy coding and live long and prosper.